I never thought my life would change in the pediatric wing of the hospital, at least not in the way it did. My name is Taemin, registered nurse, pediatric specialist, Omega. Not that my secondary gender defined my whole life, but it did mean people expected me to live a certain way. Be soft. Be obedient. Be someone's cute little partner who had nothing better to do than stay at home, raise kids, and wait for an alpha to come back from work. That wasn't me. I was the kind of Omega who worked triple shifts, who smelled faintly of antiseptic instead of vanilla, who had milk pads tucked discreetly inside his uniform because my body didn't seem to understand that I wasn't currently raising a pup of my own. I told myself I didn't mind. My patients were my children, even if I had to give them back to their real parents at the end of the day. But it was lonely. God, it was lonely. Dating never lasted. I was too clingy, too needy when I finally opened up, but too unavailable because of work. My partners hated that I canceled dates or came late, that I wanted cuddles at 2 a.m. after a 12-hour shift, that I cried when they pulled away instead of being cool about it. I was submissive, yes, but not easy to tame. At least, that's what I believed. Until I met Min Lee. It was a Thursday afternoon. The ward smelled of formula, baby powder, and the faint bitter scent of Omega milk that had dried somewhere on a towel. I was finishing up rounds when one of the head doctors tapped me on the shoulder. "Taemin," she whispered. "Room 304. We might need you." I blinked. "Why me?" "You'll see." She hurried away before I could press further. I sighed, adjusted the strap of my clipboard, and pushed the door open. That was the first time I saw him. Alpha Min Lee. Even before I learned his name, his presence filled the room like a storm. Tall, broad shoulders wrapped in an expensive suit, dark hair slicked back, but a few strands rebelliously falling across his forehead, sharp eyes that cut across the space and landed directly on me. He had the kind of aura that made your Omega glands tingle without permission, the kind that screamed alpha with a capital A. And in his arms, a tiny boy wailed so hard his face was blotchy red. The sound pierced the room, filled with exhaustion, frustration, and grief. "Make him stop," Min Lee growled. His voice was low, dangerous, as if he wasn't asking but commanding the universe itself. The doctor beside him flinched. "Sir, we've tried. Try harder." The baby's cries echoed, bouncing off the sterile walls. Something in me stirred. My instincts pulled tight, sharp, and undeniable. I dropped my clipboard on the counter and stepped closer. "May I?" I asked quietly, meeting Min Lee's burning gaze. His nostrils flared. "Who are you?" "Taemin, pediatric nurse." I gestured at the baby. "Let me help." He hesitated. His arms tightened protectively around the child. "You'll just fail like the rest." "Maybe," I said honestly. "But maybe not." For a moment, the world held its breath. Then, reluctantly, he extended the child toward me. The moment the little boy, Minja, touched my chest, his cries softened into hiccups. His tiny fists grasped at my uniform, tugging, searching. My Omega instincts surged so strongly I almost gasped. "He's hungry," I whispered. "We've given him formula. Imported the best," Min Lee snapped. I shook my head. "Not what he wants." I looked up into the alpha's dark eyes, my cheeks heating. "Sir, with your permission, I can feed him." The room went silent. Even the baby paused, hiccuping against my chest. Min Lee's gaze darkened, sweeping over me as if calculating, doubting, resisting. "You mean?" "Yes," I said firmly. "I can nurse him." His jaw clenched. His aura pressed down on me like a storm cloud, testing, weighing. Then, finally, he gave a short nod. "Do it." I sat down on the edge of the hospital bed, adjusted my uniform carefully, and guided the baby to latch. The moment Minja's mouth found me, everything shifted. His tiny body relaxed, his cries faded into soft whimpers, and within minutes, he was sucking greedily, his eyelids fluttering closed. His little hand rested on my chest, his warmth sinking into me until I thought my heart would burst. I bit my lip, tears pricking my eyes. I hadn't realized how much I'd needed this, how much I'd longed for it. Across from me, Min Lee stared like he'd seen a ghost. For the first time, his ruthless mask cracked. His lips parted, his eyes softened, his whole body leaned forward unconsciously as if he couldn't believe what he was seeing. His voice was rough, breaking. He never, with anyone else. I looked up, meeting his gaze. "Sometimes," I whispered, stroking the baby's soft hair, "it's not about the formula. It's about the bond." Our eyes locked. The room melted away. It was just me, him, and the little boy sleeping at my chest. And in that moment, I knew. Nothing in my life would ever be the same again. He didn't let me go after that. Not that day. Not the next. Not ever, if he had his way. But that's where the story really begins. I thought that once Minja finished feeding and drifted off to sleep, Minli would take his son, thank me stiffly, and leave. That's what any normal alpha would do. But Minli wasn't normal. He stood there, looming like a dark tower, watching every move I made as if I might vanish with his child if he blinked. His eyes burned into me, sharp, calculating, possessive in a way that made the back of my neck prickle. I carefully shifted Minja into a comfortable position against my shoulder, patting his tiny back until a soft burp escaped. My chest ached with warmth. I'd soothed hundreds of babies in my career, but this one had latched onto something deeper, something dangerous. He likes you, Minli said at last, his voice low and unreadable. I gave a small smile, brushing Minja's silky hair. Babies have instincts. He just needed comfort. No, Minli interrupted, stepping closer. His scent, clean cedar, crisp winter air, and something darker, wrapped around me before I could retreat. It's not just comfort. He chose you. I froze. Chose me? I cleared my throat, forcing a professional tone. Sir, infants don't exactly choose. They respond to care, scent, warmth. That's all. But even as I said it, Minja nuzzled against my neck and side, sinking into deeper sleep. My chest tightened. Minli's gaze softened for the briefest second. Then the mask snapped back into place. He straightened, adjusting his cuffs like the world owed him obedience. You'll come with me. Excuse me. I blinked. You heard me. His voice was clipped, absolute. You're hired. Effective immediately. I nearly dropped the baby. Hired? Sir, I already work here. I can't just. I don't care what you can't do. His eyes locked on mine, dark and merciless. My son needs you. Which means you're mine now. My heart slammed against my ribs. Mine. The next few hours blurred into chaos. Hospital administration scrambled after one of Korea's most powerful alphas stormed into their pediatric wing, demanding to relocate one of their staff. Doctors whispered in corners, nurses stared at me with wide eyes, and I stood there with Minja in my arms, caught between duty and the suffocating weight of Minli's gaze. Sir, I tried to explain. But every time I opened my mouth, Minja stirred, whimpered, and clung tighter to me, making my heart crumble all over again. And every time that happened, Minli's expression shifted, something sharp and protective flickering beneath the surface, as if he dared me to even think about refusing. By the time visiting hours ended, I realized 3 terrifying truths. Minli wasn't going to leave without me. Minja wasn't going to let me go. And against all logic, a part of me didn't want to leave them either. That night, I found myself standing outside Minli's black luxury car, Minja still cradled in my arms, the city lights painting everything silver and gold. This is insane, I whispered under my breath. Get in, Minli ordered smoothly, opening the back door. I hesitated. Sir, I have a shift tomorrow. I can't just. You're not hearing me, nurse. He leaned close, his voice dropping to a growl that curled heat down my spine. You belong with us now. Don't fight it. My breath caught. His aura pressed down on me, an alpha's command, heavy and irresistible. My instincts flared, my knees weakening. But my pride screamed back, clawing for resistance. I'm not some toy you can drag around, I snapped, clutching Minja tighter. I have my own life, my own rules. For the first time, his lips curved. Not a smile. Something darker. Amused. Dangerous. We'll see about that. Minli's mansion was everything you'd expect from a man of his reputation. Towering gates, sprawling gardens, polished marble floors that echoed with every step. It was too big, too cold, no warmth, no laughter, just silence and shadows. Except now, the silence was broken by the soft breaths of Minja, asleep against my chest. I followed Minli up the grand staircase, my nerves twisting tighter with each step. I shouldn't be here. I should have gone home. But every time I thought of handing Minja back, my arms rebelled, tightening protectively. Minli stopped in front of a door and opened it. Inside was a nursery, expensive, pristine, but sterile. Dozens of plush toys lined the shelves, untouched. The crib was perfectly made, sheets crisp, but it smelled faintly of disuse. My heart ached. No wonder Minja cried. I laid him gently in the crib, brushing a kiss against his forehead before I could stop myself. He stirred but didn't wake, his little lips twitching as if dreaming. When I turned, Minli was watching me. Not with cold calculation this time, but something else. Something unreadable. "You look at him," he murmured, voice rough, "like he's yours." Heat rushed to my cheeks. "He's not. I'm just doing my job." His eyes darkened, a storm gathering. "From now on, your job is here. With him. With us." I swallowed hard. "And if I refuse?" He stepped closer, his scent flooding my senses, his voice dropping to a whisper meant only for me. "You won't." That night, sleep was impossible. I lay awake in the guest room, replaying everything over and over. The baby's tiny size, the alpha's piercing gaze, the way my body betrayed me, aching with a need I hadn't felt in years. What scared me most wasn't Minli's power. It was how easily I'd given in, and how deep down I wanted more. It started around 2 in the morning. A thin wail sliced through the silence, echoing down the wide marble halls. My omega instincts jolted me awake before my ears even registered the sound. I was already on my feet, padding barefoot across the cold floor toward the nursery. When I pushed the door open, Minja's little arms were flailing, his face scrunched up in pure misery. "Oh, sweetheart," I whispered, scooping him up against my chest. His tiny body immediately melted into mine, his fists clutching at my shirt. I sat in the rocking chair, adjusting my uniform top just enough to let him latch. The instant he began to suckle, his cries softened into needy whimpers. His warmth seeped into me, soothing something raw and aching inside. I stroked his soft hair, whispering nonsense, swaying gently until his tiny body relaxed again. "You really are something else, aren't you?" I murmured. "Just like your father's stubborn." A deep voice cut through the dim light. "He gets that from me." I jumped, my heart slamming against my ribs. Minli leaned casually against the doorway, his silhouette sharp in the moonlight. His eyes glowed faintly, reflecting the pale silver light, fixed on me with a heat that made my throat go dry. "You scared me," I whispered. "You scare me," he countered softly. My breath caught. What do you mean?" He stepped closer, slow, deliberate, his aura rolling into the room like a tide. "You came into my life 2 days ago. And already, I can't imagine you gone." His words landed heavy, too heavy. My heart hammered, my body tensed. I wanted to protest, to remind him that I was just a nurse, that this wasn't supposed to happen. But Minja nuzzled against me, completely calm for the first time in weeks, and the truth was undeniable. Minli stopped just in front of me, close enough that I could smell the faint spice of his cologne mixed with his natural alpha scent. He crouched down, his eyes level with mine, his gaze flicking briefly to his son before locking back on me. "You look good with him," he said quietly. "Too good." Heat rushed to my cheeks. I'm just doing my job." He tilted his head, lips curving into the faintest smirk. "Then why does it feel like more?" The silence stretched. Only Minja's soft suckling filled the air. My pulse pounded in my ears. I should have looked away. I should have broken the tension. But instead, I held his gaze, caught in the pull of something bigger than both of us. His hand moved, slow, deliberate, brushing a strand of hair away from my face. My breath hitched. My entire body went rigid, every nerve on fire. "Relax," he murmured. "Don't tell me what to do," I whispered back, though my voice shook. His smirk deepened. "You're one proud little omega, aren't you?" I glared, though my cheeks burned. "I'm not little. And I'm not yours." The words hung between us. I meant them. I thought I meant them. But the way his eyes darkened, the way his scent thickened, told me he didn't believe a single syllable. Before I could stop him, his lips brushed mine. Soft. Warm. Testing. The world tilted. My breath caught. My heart stumbled. It wasn't a demanding kiss. Not yet. It was a question, unspoken but undeniable. "Do you feel this too?" I froze. Then, against every ounce of reason, my lips parted. The kiss deepened instantly. His hand slid to the back of my neck, pulling me closer, his tongue teasing mine with slow, devastating skill. My body trembled, heat flooding through me. For one dizzying moment, I let myself drown. Then Minja stirred in my arms, letting out a soft whimper. Reality crashed back. I pulled away, gasping, my lips tingling, my chest heaving. I can't," I stammered, clutching the baby tighter. Minli's eyes burned into mine, unreadable. His lips were still wet, his chest rising and falling with restrained hunger. "You already did," he murmured. He didn't push further. He simply stood, adjusted his shirt like nothing happened, and left the room with a final glance that stole the air from my lungs. I sat there, heart racing, Minjao asleep once more against me, my lips swollen from a kiss I couldn't stop replaying. I told myself it was wrong, that I couldn't get involved with my patient's father, that I wouldn't let an alpha tame me so easily. But deep down, I already knew the truth. I was his. Even if I fought it, I was his. If I thought a kiss would be the end of it, I was wrong. It was only the beginning. The next morning, sunlight spilled into the guest room through silk curtains. I hadn't slept much. My lips still tingled, my chest felt heavy, and my brain replayed Minli's kiss like a broken record. I told myself it was just a moment of weakness. Heat of the night. Instincts colliding. But then the door opened. "Good morning," came his deep voice. I sat bolt upright. Minli stood there in a perfectly pressed suit, hair immaculate, the picture of ruthless elegance. In his arms was Minja, wide-eyed and chewing on his tiny fist. I swallowed. "Gee, good morning. You didn't come down for breakfast." "I wasn't hungry," I muttered, cheeks burning. Minli stepped closer, setting his son gently on the bed beside me. "Then eat now. With us. With you." "Of course." His gaze flicked over me, lingering too long. "Your family now." My chest tightened. Family? The word lodged in my throat, both terrifying and strangely sweet. Breakfast was chaos, though not in the way I expected. Minli sat at the long dining table, composed, sipping black coffee like a man born in power. Meanwhile, Minja decided to bang his tiny spoon against the tray of his high chair like he was announcing war. I laughed before I could stop myself. "He's energetic." "He's stubborn," Minli corrected, though his eyes softened slightly as he glanced at his son. I leaned closer, coaxing the spoon out of Minja's chubby hand. "You just want attention, don't you, sweetheart?" The baby gurgled, reaching for me. My heart squeezed. I scooped him up, ignoring the food smearing on my uniform, pressing kisses to his cheeks until he squealed. Minli watched us in silence. His gaze was so intense it made my skin heat. "You look good like that," he murmured finally. I blinked. "Like what?" "Like a mate." The spoon clattered from my hand. I'm not." His chair scraped back. In 2 strides he was beside me, towering, his aura flooding the room. "You are," he said quietly, dangerously. "Even if you hide it, your body knows. My son knows. And soon you'll know too." The day passed in a blur. I helped the staff organize Minja's nursery, fed him, bathed him, even sang him to sleep. Each moment tied another invisible thread between us. But every time I looked up, Minli was there. Watching, waiting, testing me with that unwavering gaze. At dusk, when Minja finally slept, I tried to retreat to the guest room. But Minli caught my wrist in the hallway. "You're avoiding me," he said. "I'm not." "You are." His grip was firm but not painful, his thumb brushing against my pulse. My heart betrayed me, racing under his touch. "I can't," I whispered, eyes lowering. "This isn't professional. You're my patient's father." He leaned closer, his breath ghosting against my ear. "Do you really believe that's all we are?" I shivered. "I want to, but you don't." His hand slid down, lacing our fingers together. "You feel it too." Before I could reply, his lips claimed mine again, harder, deeper, stealing the breath from my lungs. I whimpered against him, my body betraying every protest. His scent overwhelmed me, his dominance curling around my instincts like fire and silk. When he pulled back, my lips were swollen, my body trembling. "You belong here," he said. "With me. With Minja." I shook my head weakly, though my voice broke. "You can't just claim me." His smirk was sharp, possessive. "Watch me." That night, I lay in bed, staring at the ceiling. My lips still ached. My heart still pounded. And deep inside I knew. I was already his. Even if I refused to admit it aloud. I once believed I was untamable. That no alpha, no matter how powerful, could break through the walls I'd built around my heart. But then there was Minli. And his son Minja. And suddenly, everything I thought I knew about myself began to unravel. By the end of the week, the mansion staff had stopped whispering behind my back and started outright staring. "The nurse is still here," one maid muttered as I passed. "Not just here. Did you see how the master looks at him?" Another giggled. "Ridiculous. An Omega nurse daring to stay under this roof." Their voices cut deep, but I pretended not to hear. I had bigger worries, namely, the fact that I was falling harder each day. Minja had stopped crying altogether when I was near. He'd begun to smile, tiny, toothless grins that melted me every time. He'd tug at my shirt, reach for my hair, babble nonsense until I laughed. And Minli. He was relentless. Touches that lingered too long. Kisses stolen in quiet hallways. His eyes on me, dark and certain, every time I tried to resist. It was maddening, addictive, terrifying. One evening, I couldn't hold it in anymore. "This has to stop," I blurted, cornering him in the library after Minja had fallen asleep. He raised a brow, calm as ever. "What has to stop?" "You. This. Us. I can't keep pretending this is normal." His smirk was sharp. "It's not normal. It's fate." I shook my head, my voice trembling. "No. It's obsession. You don't want me. You just want someone who can calm your son." He stepped forward, closing the space between us until my back hit the shelves. His aura pressed down on me, heavy and intoxicating. "Don't insult me, Taemin." His voice dropped to a growl. "Do you really think I'd want anyone else kissing me the way you do? Do you think I'd burn every second you're not near, if it was just about milk?" My breath hitched. His words cut straight to the truth I didn't want to face. He leaned closer, lips brushing mine, whispering, "You're mine. You always were. Stop fighting it." Something in me snapped. I shoved at his chest, not hard enough to move him, but enough to make him pause. Tears burned my eyes. "I'm scared," I admitted, voice cracking. "I'm scared you'll break me. That you'll get bored like everyone else. That I'll give you everything and end up with nothing." His expression softened, the ruthless alpha mask slipping away. For the first time, I saw the man beneath, the widower, the father, the man who'd lost his mate and carried scars no one else could see. He cupped my face in his hands, gently this time. "Listen to me. I've lost before. I've buried love once, and it nearly destroyed me. I'm not stupid enough to let it slip away again. Not when it's standing right in front of me, trembling but still refusing to fall." My tears spilled over. I don't know how to be someone's mate. You already are." His thumb brushed away a tear. "You're mine, and I'm yours. Say it." The bond tugged inside me, fierce and undeniable. My instincts screamed to submit, to surrender, to finally stop fighting the pull I'd felt since the moment I fed his son. "I'm yours," I whispered. "God help me, I'm yours." The kiss that followed wasn't gentle. It was fire, hunger, possession. His mouth devoured mine, his hands sliding down my back, pulling me flush against him. I moaned, helpless, clinging to his shirt as his tongue swept into my mouth. Every protest I'd ever had dissolved in that heat, replaced with raw, aching need. He lifted me easily, carrying me to the velvet sofa, laying me down as if I were something precious and breakable. But the way he kissed me was anything but careful. "Tell me to stop," he growled against my neck, his teeth grazing the sensitive skin of my gland. I arched, gasping. "Don't stop." His low chuckle vibrated against my skin. "Good boy." Clothes fell away in a blur. Heat consumed us. His touch branded me, his scent enveloped me, and when he finally sank into me, I cried out, clutching him desperately, body and soul surrendering to the alpha who'd tamed me without my notice. It was messy, passionate, overwhelming. Yet in the middle of it, when our eyes locked, I knew this wasn't just sex. It was love. Raw, terrifying, undeniable love. The days that followed felt different. Softer. The maids still whispered, but now Minli silenced them with a single glare. His hand often found mine in the hallways, his lips brushed my hair when no one was looking. And Minja, oh Minja. He'd begun to giggle. Bright, bubbling laughs that filled the cold mansion with warmth it had never known. He reached for both of us now, me and his father, little hands clutching as if he knew we belonged together. One evening, the three of us sat on the floor of the nursery. Minja crawled between us, babbling happily, tugging at my sleeve. I glanced at Minli. His gaze was softer than I'd ever seen, his hand reaching to cover mine. "This is it," he murmured. "What is?" "Home." My throat tightened. I leaned into his shoulder, kissing Minja's soft hair. For the first time in years, I wasn't lonely. I wasn't running. I was where I belonged. People still whispered. Society still judged. I was still the clingy, proud Omega who had sworn he'd never be tamed. But every night, when Minli kissed me breathless and Minja curled up between us, I realized something simple. Being tamed didn't mean being broken. It meant being loved. And for the first time, I was okay with that.